I ask my wise angels to guide me always with insights, wisdom, compassion, genuine authenticity, and deeper truths. The truth is in all of us. Sometimes we feel like it's not, and that is because we are not true to ourselves and we are not honest to ourselves, but the truth is in all of us. Collective, this is us releasing the pain from our childhood and moving forward with acceptance. Okay, I'm following the rhythm here. Welcome to another reading. We're gonna get into this full moon reading, okay? Full moon in Leo. This is basking in spiritual ascension and allowing ourselves to open up, okay? And before it even gets to the part of spiritual ascension, collective, okay, healing can look like you in bed all day in a very slow pace and feeling exhausted and drained. This is us also being led to spiritual ascension, that whomever right now at this time feeling sick, feeling like you have to drag your body around, I'm following the rhythm here, okay? This is us being led to spiritual ascension, rebirth. Thank you, Spirit. A lot of what is being released during this full moon in Leo is a lot of the pain that we have been harboring and holding on to and carrying since our childhood, and whatever is being brought to your attention during this full moon, okay? This is to be so kind and patient with, and then moving forward with acceptance in your heart. Perhaps this is us being nicer to our heart. Okay, 222, it's a process. You can reinvent yourself. Open to the rewards of change. You have brilliance to share with the world. Love every part of your journey. Right now, we're not loving it. That's the energy I'm getting. It feels chaotic. It feels all over the place. It feels cluttered. And I'm getting that when we allow ourselves to let go and to surrender, you don't feel so much of that restriction that we are putting ourselves in. That when we allow ourselves to really bask in the feelings and the emotions, we have a better understanding of it. It's like us experiencing, okay, all of a sudden this emotion comes to surface, 333. And either you react to it with kindness and patience and you sit with it, or you go, whatever, I'm just gonna put that off, 343, and then I'm gonna go back to that later. That every time we say, I'm gonna go back to that later, I'm gonna go back to that later, I'm gonna go back to that later, that too builds up. And then leading us to doing more work, doing more healing work. It's like we are delaying ourselves by ignoring them. Significance I have here, collective. Ooh. Integrity. Restoration. Humor. I feel like I'm going to get into that a little bit more in a minute here. Edgy. Heavy emphasis on edgy. And Kundalini awakening. Give me a second, I dropped something here. Integrity. I dropped the integrity, 454. We dropped our integrity, completely forgot about it. Coming back to restoration. a lot of this right now during this full moon collective. There's a lot of alignment that is happening here. There's a lot of alignment because in this time of Kundalini activation, and this does not look easy and it doesn't seem easy. I'm getting it doesn't look easy. It doesn't feel easy. And I feel like this is where this steps in, and a lot of it, because we're feeling this a lot. And I feel this feeling right here that we're getting, the feeling of irritation, annoyance, the edgy sense of feeling, 555. I had written this down, okay, and this is the message that I received. This is rooted in having to work that 9 to 5 and then coming home to nothing and coming home to feeling empty and feeling hopeless. This is us and is rooted in not having enough juice in our life, not having enough creativity, not having enough space to create. This card is rooted in not allowing yourself to have room to express yourself in an authentic way. 636. This is rooted in not allowing ourselves to release what needs to be released. 646. And that perhaps whatever it is that is being released is the very thing that has been hurting you, 656, this whole time. You having to carry this burden around. Oh man, I can't. Oh man, I give up. I quit, 707. This full moon in Leo is giving us an opportunity to look within our authenticity. It's much needed, and it's also what is going to save our collective. 727. You are born to shine and inspire. Practice humility to avoid jealousy. Ooh, that reminds me that I woke up to that word humility this morning. That's funny. Be grateful for life and more good things will come. Having emphasis on the word gratitude. Be true to yourself and recognize your brilliance. I'm getting that for some, you are recognizing a lot more of your authenticity. And I feel like this is rooted in a lot of that inner work that you have done. And then stepping in and you're going to yourself, I don't even know who I am anymore. That's probably a good thing, right? Like when somebody says, oh, you've changed a lot, I usually think, oh, that's actually a good thing. That's good news. Having to accept your new self in a world where authenticity isn't so much praised. 838. I feel like we are getting to that place. It's leading us up to that place of having to honor more about our authenticity. Okay. Self-reliance. Okay, bottom of the deck here. I want to read to you guys what it says. You are strongly independent. Something that we are also learning a lot more of, independence, 909, okay? And often solitary. Integrity is important for your best outcome. Cloak yourself with invisibility and walk with the shamans. Use your intuition and let your life unfold in silent perfection. This integrity that's coming through and what you are also exuding to the rest of the world, that also comes from letting your authenticity live. I'm getting like, this is a process, and it has been a process for you to build this within yourself. 959. It had taken a long time for one to really build this up within themselves. This is 10-10, what we are looking at in everyone right now. And perhaps I'm talking to somebody here who is seeing a lot of this within themselves, because this is what you have been practicing on in times of solitude, solitary, right? And then you birthing this new self-reliant person. The vibrancy that you now have tapped into, authenticity. Now you have a lot of that juice in your life. And for some of us who are now in the process, stepping into getting to know more of your authenticity, you may be feeling a lot of this, because in order for one to really accept their authenticity, 1111, there needs to be a lot more healing of the self. For one to really show up in integrity, excuse me, let me reword that again. For one to be really showing up in their authenticity, in integrity. That's not an easy job, because that came with a lot of inner work and shadow work and energy work. It comes with a lot of energy work. It comes with a lot of acceptance, self-acceptance. When one is stepping out as themselves and being authentic and not afraid, the world is afraid of it. You see, your identity is not defined by the things that you are doing. Your identity is seen when you feel good about yourself. Your identity is seen when you do things for yourself that makes you feel good. Your identity is seen, and even more seen, when you do the things that you are passionate about. You see, others may perceive you as this identity of what they think you are. And defining your identity by the things that you are doing in your life, and by the title that you have, and the position that you have, and having that title. But your identity and your authenticity is seen when you are present and doing the things that you love to do. And then that's when the juice just starts flourishing and growing and thriving. And it just keeps on going, leading us up to spiritual ascension. This is what this full moon in Leo is telling us, is that you have that authenticity in you, and that you are to be reminded that is in you, but it is the part where you have to accept it, is the inner work. And that looks different for everybody, because it's a process. We don't know how long that's going to take for us to really be in acceptance and self-acceptance. This full moon in Leo is teaching us about our cycles, toxic ones, patterns, even like the funny little weird patterns and cycles that we have, and we're going to ourselves, delete, 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 delete. This full moon in Leo is teaching us a lot about our traumas in our childhood that is resurfacing. And some of you guys, I'm getting like you're having to relive it, that you're imagining it and you're envisioning it in your mind. And it feels like you're having to go back there and reliving it. Okay, that's the trauma. That is the trauma body. The trauma body is separate from our healing body. Okay, I feel the need to mention that. Okay, that's coming up. We are in release. And we are to sit with that. The do's and don'ts during this full moon. I want to pull up some notes that I had written down for the do's and don'ts. Okay, let me find this really quick. during this full moon, the do's and don'ts. Do honest self-assessment. Don't project. Do and practice shadow work. Don't project. Do hydrate, sleep, nap, journal. Do not project. It's probably best to stay in at this time. I'm following the rhythm collective. In restoration, will we find the answer? This is about doing so much, but not enough time for you and doing for you. It's like we have enough time and we make time for the things that we don't even want to do. But we were programmed to do these things. And perhaps this is what we're also releasing during this full moon, is that we don't have to hold on to the conditioning. We can choose. And I feel like I have to emphasize that because we get stuck not choosing to change. And by not choosing to change, there is no restoration. There is no authenticity. We're not fully, completely activated. Does that make sense? Mind, body, and spirit. I just literally imagined a figure, and all I am seeing is the aura of this figure. Just the aura around this figure. That's it. And it's just illuminating from top to bottom, illuminating. Excuse me, I dropped a card. That is where we want to be. Fully activated mind, body, and spirit. Okay, that's what I'm getting here. That is us in full activation and in healing. We are supposed to be walking around this place with an aura around us. We're supposed to be walking around this place activated. Mind, body, and spirit. Right now, what you're feeling is this. For some, and a lot. I feel the need to come back to that because before it even gets really, really pretty, it's gonna get really, really ugly in here, and the body. And then followed with aligning ourselves with our spirit. Mind, body, spirit. But before it gets to that part, it's the release that needs to happen first before we are illuminated. Okay, I keep getting that image in my head. Okay, I'm gonna pull up some cards here for us. A lot on the childhood traumas here. I feel like it's more of the cycles and patterns here that is resurfacing when it comes to our childhood. Okay. I feel like also, and here's the message that just came through. There's a very valuable lesson that is rooted in the releasing the childhood cycles and patterns. There's a very, very valuable lesson in seeing our patterns and in seeing our cycles, okay? When it comes to releasing childhood traumas, there's a lot of valuable lesson that comes with this. This is the energy that I'm picking up on, okay? It's so easy for us to fall into deception, Seven of Swords, when we're not honest with ourselves. Remember what I said about do honest self-assessment. That when we ignore that, we have a tendency to self-deceive. It's going to start to creep up and it's going to start to confuse you because you have allowed self-deception in. And now you're just operating in it. So yes, healing matters. Yes, this Kundalini awakening that we are all processing collectively at this time is important and is valuable to the rest of us as well. Self-doubt is coming up. I'm getting there's resistance. Two of Swords. There's resistance in the self-doubt. It's like when you feel and reliving the past, whatever it was that happened to you in your childhood, whatever it was that you had experienced in your childhood that was not good. And right now you're having to experience it and you're having to relive it again because it's coming back there. When that comes up, we have a tendency to resist. We have a tendency to get angry, to get upset, disappointed, all of those bad, nasty emotions and feelings that we feel. And then we get stuck. And then we forget to choose healing. Because there's so many energies, blocked energies. How is it possible for one to heal when there are so much blockages that we are not tending to? This is important. Followed with this, okay? Damn. It's like there's really nothing one can do for oneself but to just be kind and be patient. And sometimes that is the very thing that is hard to do for us, for you, too. And the reason being is because all we've ever known is to harm ourselves, because when we were a kid, there were others harming us emotionally, mentally, and for some physically. And this is also energetically leading us to misalignment. For some, all we have ever known is deceit and hate and animosity and jealousy and envy that we have been holding on to in our system because somebody put it there. And now you're going to yourself, now I gotta take accountability to release it? Yes. Even though somebody put it there? Yes. Even though I didn't do anything to them? Yes. What? Yes. But I didn't do this to myself. So why should I be the one to release it? Because it's in you. And that's what is so unjust about it, right? Is that while someone else put it there, you have to take responsibility for actually releasing it. I feel like that is also the part where it strengthens us so much. That's the part where we have to overcome it and tell ourselves, yes, I am willing. That's the part where we are also getting tested, right? It's a choice. It's like choosing to be willing to help yourself or choosing not to help yourself. Because either, okay, I'm looking at it from this perspective. Either you heal and help yourself in every way, mind, body, and spirit, or you stay where you are and not heal and let that eat you up inside. Which one are you gonna pick? The dead or alive? Deception or essence? Which one are you going to choose? And what kind of life would that look like for you if you chose deception or if you choose essence? Because with essence comes with healing. And deception comes and is rooted in fear. And so while fear is out here looking at everybody in the face, and going, I'm powerful. I'm fine here. I don't want to grow. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to move. I want to just be here. You can choose that. Nobody's telling you not to choose it. But what kind of life would that look like? Your everyday life that nobody sees. You know what I mean? This is a life that nobody sees. But this is a life that you get to experience on a daily. So when we keep ourselves operated in fear, what kind of life would that look like? And if we operated ourselves in love, happiness, and joy and peace, what kind of life would that look like? It's like collectively we are being pushed to a place of certainty and peace and no confusion, but rest and real rest. But suppose that even before we even get to that point, there is a lot to release about who we are, about the things that we have been holding on to in denial about. For some, it's a struggle. No one's blaming you. It's a process. And so I feel like this is the part where, we are reminded by family, friends, whomever, to encourage you to choose to heal. Somebody in your life right now, praising you and encouraging you to heal, keep them in your life. And anybody who is encouraging you to heal right now and giving you that space and that time to just sit with yourself in solitude, anybody who does that for you is a friend and who is supportive. Somebody who also cares a lot about your health. Anybody who tries to stop you from being in your solitude and in your space in healing needs healing. The only person that can do this for yourself is yourself. The only person that could ever change you. You see, we've been holding on to this old self for so long that that's all we've known, that we don't even know what's on the other side of that old self. We've been holding on too much, too long of that old self that we don't even know what's on the other side. But suppose we're not willing to. We're not encouraging ourselves enough to be awakened. There's levels to that. There's levels to awakening, and not everybody also is accepting of what's up there. The highest of the high. I'm now reminded how suppressed society has been, and I keep saying this because this is something that we have been enduring. I feel also at this time, while some are in this energy, and believe me, it's gonna get better. A lot of us are, I'm hearing, in so much gratitude of it all. There are a few who really, really cares for your healing. Temperance, the lovers. And these are the people we hold on to. You only need one or two. And perhaps they are the ones who are helping you awaken yourself even more, because maybe they see potential in you and they know you can and not you can't. I'm picking up on resistance as I say this. And I'm getting also because love is such a big energy that some of us can't handle it. But you see how suppressed society has been, that we're not even allowing ourselves to receive love because all we have been in is in fear. So when somebody is expressing real, genuine, true love, we mistake it by somebody who's being fake. Does that make sense? And I feel the need to say that. It has become such a suppressed place, placed in fear, that when one is showing genuine, true love, it's almost too fake. This is where we are being placed in. To like really show the world that this can actually be a thing that we can see, that can live out there. That love can really thrive out there and not fear. That love can really conquer and succeed and continue to succeed and not let fear get in the way. You see, the devil hates the truth. The devil loves to confuse people because it is confused. It thinks it is God. And I call it because it's nothing. It's literally nothing. And the devil will continue to try to do things, to plot, to plan, to provoke, just so that they don't have to see your truth come to life. But this full moon in Leo is telling you to come to life. It is actually giving us an opportunity to see our truth. And maybe even getting us out of deception. I don't like that that's coming up in my readings a lot lately, but it's coming up for a reason. And this is what we're getting rid of. Self-deception is a thing. But the thing is, we don't want to bask in it anymore. We want to bask in our essence, our true self. And before it even gets to that part, you gotta cry it out. You gotta look ugly first. You gotta sweat, snot coming out of your nose, and all. You gotta go through those phases where you don't like yourself. You're sweating. Oh, I'm gross. Yeah, you are. You're gross. And it even before it even gets pretty, it has to be ugly, and it's gonna get ugly. And right now, 3333, you're seeing the ugly. That too needs to be accepted. It's like telling yourself, wow, I really do not like this part of myself. And you saying it to yourself and going, you know what? I accept it. And I'm going to move on from it. That is this. An acceptance of you. Self-love is loving yourself even in the ugly, even in the struggles, even in the battles. This is where this grows and it builds up, and it just continues on building up. You are the sovereign of the seen and the unseen worlds. The magic of love surrounds you. Beauty transforms you. Listen to the spirits of light if you dare. Abandon the darkness and go beyond the ordinary and become the legendary. Abandon the darkness. I feel like that's important. I feel like that is also something we've been in, and we're not allowing ourselves to let light in more. I see a lot of light coming from this card. Along with this. This is perhaps what we have been hiding this whole time, because The world is mean. Remember that your identity is seen when you feel good about yourself. Your real true identity shows and is seen and is exposed when you feel good about yourself, when you feel good about what you do, when you feel good about you. Is one thing to talk about it, but it's another to talk about it and be intentional and then taking actions about it. I love you guys so much, and I'm sending you so much love and support at this time. My name is Kimber, and thank you for listening to another. I will see you guys in the next. Love and peace. Take care.